What's up, everyone? Welcome to the FA podcast. Another mock draft show here. So today we're doing the 49ers and the Texans. So should be an interesting one. The 49ers had quite a bit to replenish as far as I can recall. But they've done some good stuff in free agency so far. Mike Evans filling that wide receiver hole to go along with Ricky Pearsall. Juwan Jennings still a free agent. They do have 24 and 25 fourth rounders, Jacob Cowing and Jordan Watkins on the roster, as well as Demarcus Robinson. They got Vadarian Lowe to be a swing tackle, Brett Toth, interior player. They traded for Osa Odigizua last night. So big time talent inside on the defensive line. Dre Greenlaw returns to San Francisco after 1 year in Denver. And that's really the extent to what the 49ers have done so far. They tendered Kalia Davis, restricted free agent tender there, re-signing him. And that's mostly what the 49ers have done. For the Texans, they have been very, very active. They traded for Kai Kroger, a punter. Offensively, they signed some protection for C.J. Stroud. Right tackle Braden Smith comes over from the Colts. They got David Montgomery in a trade from the Lions to pair with Woody Marks and Jawar Jordan in the backfield. Signed third tight end in Foster Moreau from the Saints. Defensively, they upgraded it as well. Reed Blankenship comes in at safety to pair with Kalen Bullock and Jalen Reed, MJ Stewart as well. They got some defensive line reinforcements. Logan Hall, former first rounder with the Bucks, and Dominique Robinson on the edge there, coming over from the Bears, and Jake Hummel, a special teamer and backup linebacker, in from Baltimore. So I like what the Texans have done a lot, and we'll see what these two teams continue to do. But let's get into the mock here. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza going to be number one. Jets going Ruben Bain. Cardinals, they go Carnell Tate. David Bailey goes to the Titans. Giants are up with Arvell Reese. Sonny Styles for the Browns. Caleb Downs to the Commanders. Jeremiah Love to the Saints. Caleb Lomu to the Chiefs. Jordan Tyson for the Bengals. It's weird. Kenyon Sadiq to the Dolphins. Mansour Delane to the Cowboys. Mekhi Lemon to the Rams. I guess I can leave it. I was going to say I'd like to go get some protection for CJ Stroud. But how about the 49ers? There have been rumors that Trent Williams might not play. And the way that this board has fallen, I know we have to come up 13 spots. But to get a franchise left tackle at Francis Mauigoa at 14, I think it's a pretty solid value considering we've drafted him in the top 5, top 10. So to be here at 14, I think 49ers come up. They get their left tackle of the future in Francis Mauigoa. Now, it's not going to be cheap, right? We're going to have to give up our first rounder next year and see if we can get a pick back. I like that trade. 2 firsts, we get a third rounder next year and a 5th rounder this year for 2 firsts to move up 13 spots, just trying to maximize the value back to us in this deal here. Even 50-50. Look at that. So I love this move here. Going with Francis Mauigoa. Of course, the Panthers want to come up 5 spots. The Ravens, I don't know why they would want to come back up and give us picks that they already lost. But I love Francis Mauigoa here for the 49ers. I know it's probably not the number one need. Again, I need to redo my needs here, but uh, what I had for San Francisco was edge as the number one need. Well, all the edge guys already went. Keldrick Falk is there, and maybe we could get him at 27 or a different player. Um, but with Michael Williams coming back, Nick Bosa coming back, they have Keon White. They really like Sam Okway and Onu. They Yatorgos Matos and Clellan Ferrell are both still out on the market, so they could potentially re-sign those guys. Interior defensive line, they addressed that with the Adigizua trade. Offensive tackle was my third need, so it kind of fits. Wide receiver was my fourth. Mike Evans fills that. I think they should still re-sign Jawan Jennings if the price is right. Interior O line, they have Spencer Burford as a free agent. They did sign Brett Toth, Matt Hennessy, also a free agent, backing up Jake Brendel at center. So they need to fill a guard spot currently still. Tight end, because of George Kittle's age. I really don't think it's that big of a need. Jake Tongas filled in very, very well last year. That's why they re-signed him to a 2-year deal. And linebacker, they sort of filled that out with Dre Greenlaw coming back. Luke Gifford, Eric Kendricks, Curtis Robinson, all free agents, but I kind of like where they're at linebacker now with Greenlaw back in the fold. So yeah, I'm going to get the franchise left tackle, and we're going to go with Francis Mauigoa here, trading up 13 spots to 14. Peter Woods to the Bucks. Jets going Jermod McCoy. Lions get Spencer Fano. Dylan Tiedemann to the Vikings. Popular pick. Monroe Freeling to the Panthers. Cowboys going Vega Ione. Steelers get Avion Terrell. The Chargers going Caden Proctor. Akeem Messidor for the Eagles. Ty Simpson, wow, to the Browns at 24. Broncos come up for Omar Cooper, 30 in a second next year. Keldrick Falk to the Bills. And the Ravens take Caden McDonald with our pick that we gave them. Yeah, so Texans here, right? Texans, we have 4 picks. So we're pretty solid here. 49ers, we only have 2. But for the Texans, I did have obviously a lot of O-line. Tackle was my number one need. They filled that with Braden Smith. They like Ariante Ursary. They have Blake Fisher, who they drafted in the second round 2 years ago in 2024. But I like the tackles that they have now with Smith in the fold. Interior defensive line. Now that was with Sheldon Rankins as a free agent. They did sign Logan Hall as well. So I still think they could add, because I'm not sold on Kurt Hinish as the primary nose tackle backup. I do like the re-signing of Naquan Jones as well. Dylan Horton is a 23 fourth rounders, and they have back-to-back 7th rounder Solomon Byrd in 24, Keontae Hamilton in 25 as backups as well. So there's some picks there, but I wouldn't hate a pick potentially there. Safety, they filled that with Reed Blankenship. They re-signed MJ Stewart as well. Interior O-line. Now that is where I could see a player going. Jarrett Patterson, Jake Andrews, Ed Ingram, Jared Kingston, not the greatest interior O-line, I would say. So I think that could also be a spot. So both interior lines here. Linebacker, they re-signed EJ Speed. They signed Jake Hummel, so it's not as big of an issue. I could still see them adding to that there. And punter, well, they traded for Kai Kroger, so they're okay there. So, like I said, I think I'm leaning line, And it works out perfectly. We have Caleb Banks at the top of the board here. Um, you know, wide receiver could also be something to talk about, but because of how well the draft picks played last year, Jalen Knoll, Xavier Hutchinson, Jaden Higgins, those guys, and Tank Dell, obviously, hopefully he comes back well. But got Nico Collins, of course. I just think interior line is the way to go. There's not a guard available. And Caleb Banks, top of the board. I love this selection. Big body, 6'6, 327. Learn under Sheldon Rankins and be your starter from here on out. Brandon Cisse to the Chiefs. Bears going Blake Miller. Patriots, they go Casey Concepcion. Colton Hood for the Seahawks, replenishing the secondary there. Skylar Bell to the Jets. Cardinals going CJ Allen. The Titans, they are going Christian Miller. Maxi Ator for the Raiders. Chase Basantis for the Giants. We're back on with the Texans. Bucks want to come up 8 spots for a third rounder and our 4th next year. I'm not really feeling that one. You know, we have 4 picks here total for Houston, so I think I think we're gonna stick here and be okay. What is on the board? You know, I'm not really sure here. Manny McNeil Warren. TJ Parker is a very good, solid pick here. You know, they re signed Daniil Hunter. And again, I think they could use more edge help. So I don't hate the TJ Parker aspect. 6'4, 263. That's a very good size for a 4'3 defensive end. Chris Bell could be in consideration. Emmanuel McNeil Warren is one of the best safeties in the draft. But again, I like the safety room here. And offensively, it's really wide receivers, not a lot of O linemen. Emmanuel Pregnon is there. We have 59. So maybe we can get him then or move up a little bit if he's available, a couple picks ahead of us. I think we go with the edge rusher here and TJ Parker. Get some depth behind Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson. Mano Pregnon goes 39th. Great. Chris Bell to the Chiefs. Pregnon going to the Browns. Jacob Rodriguez to the Bengals. Denzel Boston goes to the Saints. D'Angelo Pons for the Dolphins. Jets going Grayson Halton. Julian Neal for the Ravens. Zion Young to the Bucks. Malachi Lawrence for the Colts. Chris Johnson for the Falcons. Vikings going Parker Brailsford. Lions get Emmanuel McNeil Warren off the board finally. Will Lee for the Panthers. Packers going Chris Brazzell. Jennings Dunker for the Steelers. Jeremy Bernard for the Eagles. Chargers going Sam Hecht. Mike Washington Jr. for the Jags. The Bears going AJ Halsey. We're back on with our last pick for San Francisco, unless we trade back. The Packers are offering us a deal to move back 26 spots. 4th round or 3rd next year. And for our 7th, Jags want to move up 13 for 2 third-round picks. That's tempting. San Francisco, you know, with only 2 picks, we might actually accept that. Just looking at what's on the board and what San Fran needs. Interior defensive line. Yeah, maybe. Could maybe go a guy, but how about corner? Corner, they're pretty good. Maybe you could add one. Linebacker, Anthony Hill is a stud. But I like the 4 linebackers that they have already. And then you're looking at Cassius Howell, which I don't hate taking Howell here. You could go wide receiver. I don't think they need, yeah, running back. They have plenty. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate the trade back. I know it's 13 spots. We usually don't like going that far down. Oscar Delp would be a solid selection as well. But with only one more pick here, I don't hate the 49ers trading down two selections or 13 selections and picking up two third round picks, especially in value, 9 points of value. The Jags come up for Cassius Howell. We're on with the Texans, and we are not moving down 25 spots. Green Bay. Sorry. So with the Texans here, okay, we got Caleb Banks in the first. We got TJ Parker in the second. So what do we need here? The secondary is very solid. I don't think we need to go that route. Linebacker, though. Linebacker is one where I definitely think we could go. Again, Anthony Hill Jr., speed guy, very good in coverage. The safeties, again, I don't think that's a need. I really like the four safeties that they have there. Antonio Williams or Ted Hurst. Ted Hurst would be amazing here, but I like going with Anthony Hill. Solidify that linebacker room and get a guy for the future as well. Antonio Williams goes to the Bears. Jake Golday for the Rams. Demetrius Crownover for the Broncos. Patriots going Oscar Delp. Emmett Johnson for the Seahawks. R. Mason Thomas to the Cardinals. Davison Igbinosun for the Titans. Trading Stukes, Bengals coming up 72 and a fourth next year. Keelan Rutledge for the Eagles. Bengals want to move up a ton of spots. Sorry, we are not going to do that here. So we're back on with the Texans. And how about let's get a weapon for CJ Stroud? Or actually, no, I like their tight ends, man. Schultz signed a 1-year extension. Connor Liu could be in consideration. Let's go get a wide receiver, okay? Elijah Surratt, 6'2", 210. Jacoby Lane is massive, 6'4", 200. Ted Hurst also big, 6'4", 206. And I like any of those guys. Ted Hurst balled out at the Senior Bowl. Watched him in person. I don't hate really any of those selections. So let's go. I'm going to go with Elijah Surratt here. This is our last pick with Houston. Yeah. I'm going to go with Elijah Surratt for the Texans. Browns going Ted Hurst. Commanders, they go Darrell Jackson Jr. Raiders going Bryce Lance. We're going to move up with the 49ers. I mean, I know they traded for Osa Odigizua, okay? But this is just way too far down for Lee Hunter to be 6'3", 318. Yeah. And, we've only got one player so far. We're going to come up. We are not letting the Chiefs get their Chris Jones future replacement here. And Let's go. All right, that works for me. A third for a third, move up 8 spots. We give up a fifth, get a sixth back. Whoa, come on, Saints. That's a fair trade, man. That is a fair trade. All right, let's take a sixth next year. Fine. From the Chargers. Dang, man. The Saints, I guess they want Lee Hunter or they want someone. Give us 8 spots, man. Oh my goodness. Okay. They wanted Keontae Scott. So let's try to move in with the Chiefs. If the Chiefs will let us move up 7 spots. We'll give them their 7th rounder back from next year, along with 154. And we'll take 169 off their hands. Goodness, these teams are stingy. My gosh. I cannot believe I cannot get a trade done. The first couple were very easy. So all it took was a 5th rounder next year. Got it. Panthers want to come up. I mean, that we should accept that trade. Just saying. 9 spots, get a 3rd rounder next year for a 5th. But yeah, we're gonna draft Lee Hunter. I mean, the value is just too good here at 74. Josiah Trotter, Jags coming up 100, 124, 166. Genesis Smith to the Steelers, Caleb Tiernan to the Bucks, Jonah Coleman for the Colts, Kamari Ramsey for the Falcons, Ravens going Justin Jolie, Gabe Jacas for the Chiefs, Vikings going Keith Abney, Panthers they go Jalen Kilgore, Packers get Malik Muhammad, Jadarian Price for the Steelers, love that. Chargers going deny Dennis Sutton, Jacoby Lane, the Patriots want to come up 7 spots for a 6th rounder. Chiefs want to come up a ton. Giants coming up 105 and a 4th next year. So what do we got here? 49ers, we got Francis Maligoa, Lee Hunter in tow. Let's get the George Kittle replacement, 6'4", 239. The future, solidifying the future of the tight ends. Actually, what do we got edge-wise? Let me see. Edge, we don't have really anything. Derek Moore. Yeah, it's not terrible. Joshua Josephs. Wide receiver. Interior O-line. You do have Connor Liu here, okay? Center. which they needed depth at center anyways. Really, you need a guard, which Brian Parker can play wherever. Tight end and linebacker. I like setting up the future here at the tight end position. I know we have Jake Tongas. I know 6'4", 246 for Max Clare, 6'4", 239 for Eli Stowers. So maybe Claire's the better player in terms of 49ers guys. That would make sense. So yeah, I think I think we should go Max Clare instead, because he's going to be able to do the more blocking than Stowers. Stowers is more of a receiving guy. So let's get Max Clare here. Love Eli Stowers, but Max Clare fits the better run system for Kyle Shanahan. Dominic Orange to the Bears. Febechi Nwaiwu to the Dolphins. Lewis Moore to the Bills. Eagles, there it is. Eli Stowers, 98 and 178 to Dallas. Austin Barber for the Rams. Michael Trigg to the Broncos. Matt Golden for the Patriots. Seahawks going Joshua Josephs. LT Overton to the Vikings. Cowboys go Zechariah Branch. Steelers going Garrett Nussmeier. There you go. Deontay Lawson for the Cowboys, 112 and 152 coming up. So here's what we got for the Texans. I thought these were two very good drafts, especially I really liked the 49ers one. But the Texans, they get interior help with Caleb Banks in the first round. Second round, we went TJ Parker and Anthony Hill, more defensive help. And then we get CJ Stroud, another weapon, and Elijah Surratt with our final pick. We moved around the board a little bit with the 49ers selections. So we traded up 13 spots, traded 27 and a 2027 first round pick to move up 13 spots to get our franchise left tackle in case Trent Williams is traded or, he makes such a mess that they have to cut him, whatever. We have our guy in Francis Mauigoa. Lee Hunter, we moved up. We moved back originally from 58 to 81. And then we came up to 74 with the Chiefs. We traded away a 5th round pick next year to do that. And the value is just there. He's going to rotate in and hopefully be the future with Osa Digizua there in the middle. And then our last pick, the pick we got from trading back from 58, 88, we went with the future at tight end. Jake Tongas and Max Clare will be there. And by the way, we picked up a 3rd round pick and a 7th round selection. I think it was a 7 by trading back with the Ravens. So really like this. Again, I like the 49ers picks a ton. 49ers, in my opinion, win this draft here. So that's it for these two teams. Make sure you let me know in the comments what you think of our mocks, who we should have picked differently. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and X, FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com's website. Check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, and TikTok at FAA at Football Addicts Pod on there. And we will see y'all back on Monday.